Hello guys, welcome to another FU Money, the weekly live stream. Today, Saturday, we are just a few hours away from the weekly close on the charts, but we are also a few hours away from another very important milestone for Bitcoin. And probably some of you guys know already, I'm talking about Taproot locked in, and this will happen in just a few blocks. More or less 17 hours from now, I guess. The estimate is 17 hours, if I'm not mistaken. But this week has been a very intense week with the numbers of inflation in the United States causing a lot of stressful volatility on the charts. And also I was, let's say, contacted by a friend, which I don't see for some time. And she also told me something that I've been hearing from a lot of people, which is it's very hard to invest in Bitcoin because it's very expensive. We are going to talk about this in just a few minutes. But before that, let's go and see how, it's not 17 anymore. It's already 16 hours from now. Taproot implementation on the blockchain of Bitcoin is going to be locked in. So let's see what is happening here, and I will of course tell you guys everything about this. Let me just refresh the page. So Taproot activation will be locked in 16 hours. Of course, this was already started in June when the consensus was achieved, and that means more than 90% of the miners agreed to the implementation of Taproot activation, which will improve the Bitcoin blockchain a lot. So before going to the explanation, of course, guys, and also just a 2-minute video to celebrate the activation of Taproot in June, and the locked-in will just happen in a few hours. I heard also rumors that there's going to be a big party in El Salvador. Max Kaiser and Stacy Herbert are already in El Salvador to celebrate the Taproot locked in into the blockchain. And probably we will hear about this in a future video from Max Kaiser. But for now, let's see. So we are 16 hours away from the lock-in of the Taproot implementation. 96 blocks left. So let's see the video to celebrate what happened in June and what will happen in just 16 hours.
Remember, they've had some contact with them, but it hasn't been very much. We have to remind our viewers that we're watching this as it unfolds, so we'll try and keep you up to date as to what exactly is going on. Let's listen in to NASA making contact with Mark.
Communications 5 by 5.
Give them a few minutes.
Copy that. Commander.
We had a good communication link. I know you're telling
Main shutdown in 3, 2, 1. Shutdown.
Just a short video of 2 minutes showing the celebration. Of course, this is a meme video, but this was the celebration of the Taproot activation on the code and on the blockchain in June. And of course, this was achieved by consensus. You guys saw in the video the 90% green number on the screen. That means that 90% of all the miners had to agree and accept to introduce the Taproot activation into the blockchain. This is something that shitcoins don't know, because there's no consensus on shitcoins. There's only the will of the hierarchy, and this is also another thing that distinguishes Bitcoin from all the other shitcoins. Of course, into Bitcoin there's only going to be code that was approved by at least 90% of all the miners in the world, and that's what we call consensus. And that's why Bitcoin is completely decentralized, and only the consensus drives what is implemented into Bitcoin, and not some hierarchy of one guy telling all the others what is going to be implemented into the code. Okay, but this is done, so let me just give you guys a short, let me just pull up also, oops, sorry, not like this. This is not what I want, okay. Let me just pull up here the notes for the show, and also this is what you have to know about Taproot. And for all those Bitcoiners interested in this, let's go and see what is Taproot all about. So Taproot is a soft fork to the Bitcoin network that will improve the scripting capabilities and privacy. So there is an increase of privacy, and I will get there. I will just explain to you guys how this is achieved. It enables something called must, which can help make smart contracts more efficient and private by only revealing the relevant parts of the contract when spending. So by the way, for those of you guys that think that you cannot have smart contracts in Bitcoin, that's also something which is wrong. Of course, Bitcoin has smart contracts, and the general opinion about this was that until now, it was not very easy to implement smart contracts into Bitcoin, but right now with Taproot, this will become much easier. Also, this is one of the improvements that Taproot will bring to the blockchain, and allow more people to develop smart contracts on the blockchain of Bitcoin. Not just thinking that the only blockchain where you can implement smart contracts is Ethereum, and the other ones that are, talking about implementing smart contracts, but we are still years away from that, or they have been announcing this for years and it's still not working. Of course, one of the examples is Cardano. Everyone has been waiting for smart contracts in Cardano, that shitcoin, and it will never happen, or if it will be hacked the next day. So in any case, Bitcoin has smart contracts, always had, always will, but now, since Taproot activation will be locked in 16 hours, it will be much easier for developers to develop smart contracts into the blockchain, and this will, of course, increase the number of smart contracts running on Bitcoin blockchain. Now, continuing here, it can also improve privacy of the Lightning Network by making channels look like regular Bitcoin transactions if the Lightning implementation choose to adopt Taproot. So that means that the implementation on the main chain, the blockchain, is done. It will be active in 16 hours, and every implementation of the Lightning Network, I mean clients, servers, nodes, everything, if they choose, and this is the important word, if they choose to adopt Taproot, and of course the majority of people think they will, but this is not forced, then this will also be available on the Lightning Network layer 2 and facilitate the privacy of transactions on the Lightning Network. Of course, this is always the word, the most important word when we discuss the Bitcoin universe. Everyone chooses to adopt or not. Everyone chooses to activate Taproot or not, and the consensus is achieved by the personal decision of the miners, the personal decisions of whoever has to accept it, and it's never imposed. So it's not the will of one to many, it's the will of many to many. And this is what distinguishes Bitcoin from all the rest. You can read more about Taproot on this link to the Bitcoin Magazine article. Also, the speedy trial, BIP9 and speedy trial soft fork deployment method, where the miners and mining pools help to coordinate the deployment of a soft fork. They do so by signaling for deployment of the soft fork in their mined blocks. To lock in the soft fork for activation, 90% of the blocks have to signal that they accept this change. So this is just to give you guys, a short explanation on how the consensus is achieved. So the miners have to signal when they process the blocks. They have to signal that they accept the changes that are trying to pass on the consensus. So this is a more technical explanation. There's no point trying to read all this, but you guys can go to the site. This is taproot.watch, and you can see everything there, okay? So Taproot is going to be implemented, and now let me just give you guys a hint of the most important features. So one of the most important features is, of course, the improvement of privacy, and this is achieved by Schnorr signatures on every transaction. So that means that the signatures will change. And just to give you guys an example of how this works, if someone is transacting with someone else, there's only one transaction. This is done exactly the same way as before. The signature doesn't change because there's only one transaction. But if there are, for example, 3 people sending transactions to only one receiver, all those transactions will get mixed up and signed as one. And this is how the improvement of privacy is achieved, because no one knows who sent what to whom. So in this case, the signature will change and be wrapping all the transactions to the same receiver. So this is one of the technologies that is going to be implemented in just 16 hours. And from that point on, it will work like that. Also, there is the reduction of the signature size in bytes, which means that as we pay for bytes sent into the block per transaction, that means that the signatures, as they will be shorter, we will also pay less fees. So in this case, this will also reduce the fees in the Bitcoin blockchain, which were already very, very low, but from now on it will be even lower. So it will be cheaper to send transactions on the main chain, on the blockchain. I'm not talking about the Lightning Network right now, I'm talking about the main chain of blockchain, and this will help reduce the fees that we have to pay per transaction, because the space that those transactions will occupy inside the block will be much smaller. And of course, there will be also other improvements on the code, but the main features are these that I just described to you guys. So this is really important. I still don't know if I'm going to do a live stream just to show you guys the block being mined and passed onto the blockchain to be forever embedded into the blockchain and never changed again, because probably this will be very, very early on Sunday, so I probably will be sleeping. But if this occurs to be a bit later because some blocks will take longer to process, probably I will do a special live stream just to show you guys the process and show you guys the blocks being mined, and then the activation on that specific block. But if this is too early, probably I will not, but I will discuss it in future videos also. Now, I have here other news for this week. The inflation of 6.2%. Also, that I was invited to participate in the Simply Bitcoin podcast. I want to shout out to those two guys, Phil and Nico. Thank you very much for inviting me for your podcast. It was a great show, and I was able to explain once again something about the global economy and how the inflation will continue to rise, what steps have to be taken to reduce the inflation. But in this case, we are not really worried. In fact, as I said in that podcast yesterday, I even think that we should let them alone and print all the money they want. They should not print 2 trillion, they should print like 15 trillion and implode the Fed and the US dollar once and for all, so that Bitcoin can actually become the Bitcoin standard that everyone wants in the world. So if you didn't watch that podcast yesterday, head on after this one to the Simply Bitcoin podcast, watch the episode of yesterday, and you will find it very, very informative and useful. I hope you like it. Now, I also had the contact of a friend recently, and of course, she was asking me about Bitcoin and stuff like that. And I said, and she said, that it's very hard to invest in Bitcoin because it's very expensive. And this is an argument that has been debunked so many times in the past. Please, people, please, if you don't really understand how to start investing into this market, I'm talking about Bitcoin specifically, you can buy whatever amount of money you want to buy. You can buy $100 of Bitcoin, you can buy $200, you can buy $1,000. It doesn't matter. You don't have to buy a whole coin. That's not the point. The point of an investment is the percentage of growth that you will have on your investment. It's not the number of coins that you have. So once and for all, stop thinking about buying whole coins. You don't need to buy an entire Bitcoin to, to invest your money. So you can, let's say you have $1,000 to invest. You can put those $1,000 into Bitcoin. Of course, this will not be a whole coin. It will be a bunch of sats, which is the, the numbers to the right of the comma on your investment. But if Bitcoin goes up 10%, your investment will go up 10%. You don't need to buy an entire coin of Bitcoin just to have 10% growth on your investment. So this is a fallacy that many people don't really understand how it works. You don't need a whole coin. Just invest your money into Bitcoin, because if you put it on another shitcoin, let's say you have another shitcoin that costs $1,000 and you put your money there and that shitcoin grows or goes up 10%, you will make exactly the same amount of money on your investment, despite having a whole coin on a shitcoin or having just $1,000 in Bitcoin. 10% are 10%. So you don't need to buy an entire Bitcoin to be able to get those 10% if it goes up 10%. So this is a fallacy that I am tired already of explaining this to everyone. So guys, you don't need a whole coin. If you don't have the $60,000 to buy a whole Bitcoin, you can just invest whatever you want. And the percentage of growth in Bitcoin will, of course, apply to your investment. So think about that. Stop moving to shitcoins, because that's not the right path for freedom, for the financial freedom that Satoshi wanted to the world, and start investing in Bitcoin, because the percentage is what counts, not the number of coins you have. Okay, so just because I had this friend talking to me, I just wanted to pass on also this information to you guys. And finally, I want to show you guys also this. So this was also one of the news of the week, which unfortunately, or by a big coincidence, happened on the same day as Evergrande failed again to pay their debt, and I guess they are filing for bankruptcy right now. So while Bitcoin and gold, the two better, hedges against inflation, were going up just minutes after the Fed published the 6.2% inflation for October, which, by the way, was the biggest rise in the last 3 decades. And I was talking also about this yesterday on the Simply Bitcoin podcast. While this was happening, Bitcoin and gold were exploding to the upside. Just a few hours later, Evergrande news came out saying that probably they will go to bankruptcy, and then the price came back down again because it affected the markets. So it was really unfortunate that on the same day we had those two news, just to make Bitcoin go up and then down again, and we just went to the same place where we started. So right now Bitcoin wants to break out again to the upside. I've been watching the charts, but at least this is what happened during the week. The 62% announcement of inflation for October, the Taproot activation. For you guys that didn't know what this is all about, I hope I have explained it well. But in any case, I will go and check the the messages on the chat, and I hope that if you have any questions, you guys can ask me, of course, whatever you want about Taproot, and if I know it, of course, I will try to explain it the best way I can. Okay, so that's it for the news of this week. Nothing really more relevant besides the inflation numbers and the Taproot activation. Let's go see what is happening in the markets. And right now we have been recovering a bit, so we are about $1,500 above the prices of yesterday and tonight. We are now, let me just refresh the page so that the numbers are absolutely correct. We are now at $64,660 for Bitcoin, which is a 2.21% increase in the last 24 hours. So we are slowly getting back again to the upside. And of course, these numbers are only based on the last 24 hours of spot volume traded on exchanges. So this is only based on spot market. These numbers are not in any way related to futures or any derivatives. So Bitcoin traded on the spot market in the last 24 hours, almost $17 billion. And we finally have the shitcoins that should never be here on second, third, and fourth place coming back up. So they are relegated to their places, which is really below. And now we have again Ethereum in second place with only $6.29 billion traded in the last 24 hours. This thing here, which I don't really know what this is about, and I don't care, is in third place. And there's something new here on fourth place. Litecoin is having a comeback, a really slow comeback, by the way. But at least this coin has been here in the space for so long. It's not some shitty coin that was just invented to enrich the creator, except for this one. Actually, it's not a good idea to talk about that, because Litecoin was also made to enrich the creator in this case, because he sold the top years ago and got billionaire, and now he doesn't care about Litecoin anymore. But that's what happens when you invest into shitcoins. Those guys that create them get rich, and you will wait and probably be left holding the bags. Okay, so that's it. We have been recovering slowly but steadily on Bitcoin, and we will continue for sure and retry the all-time high of 68,997 will be retested soon, I guess, because the market is very strong right now. The bulls are in control still, and we will just go to the charts now and see what's going on. Guys, if you want to ask me anything, please just mention the channel name on the chat so I can see it on orange with an orange rectangle, and I will of course address your questions and talk to you guys. Okay, so if no one has any questions about Taproot activation or any other things that I discussed already, so let's continue, and I will go to the charts and see what's happening right now. Okay, so this is the total market cap, Bitcoin and all the shitcoins together. And of course, we had recently the new all-time high, which was around $3 trillion. The first time ever the total market cap achieved these numbers, $3 trillion. We are just, or we were, because now we are just correcting a bit, but following the pattern, we are, I will explain this in just a few seconds. We are just 650 billions away of getting to the first target. And the first target for me will be 3.65 trillion because of the cup and handle that you guys see on your screen, the white lines here. And of course, you guys know that the target is calculated by the size of the cup, the height of the cup, which I copy pasted here, and it gives us a 3.65 trillion mark for the next target. So this is what's happening. But as you guys can see, we have been following this pattern, going up very sustainably and steadily going up like this, with a fewer corrections along the way. But so far we have a confirmation of the breakout. So this is the news for the charts. We finally have a confirmation of the 1-to-1 ratio, and you guys know what this means because I've explained it in the past. The 1-to-1 ratio is when you have a breakout from previous high levels, which in this case are the top of the cup, you have this ratio of 1-to-1 from the bottom, the previous correction, or the previous lower swing here, and the actual price action. So in this case, we have the confirmation because this, and I will just show you guys how this is calculated. So, sorry, not this one. I prefer this tool here. So this is the level where we started the last swing low. This is the level of the breakout or the top of the cup here. So just a bit lower like that. And now if you take this exact same measure and you put it there, you guys can see, yeah, like this. You guys can see that we are just a hair below here. We are just really close. So I can consider this a confirmation of the 1-to-1 ratio. The 1-to-1 ratio means that the same size of this chart from the breakout level to the last swing low and to the current prices has to be the same, and this is the 1-to-1 ratio, so we have confirmation of a trend. And having confirmation of a trend, I'm not really scared of what might happen here, because when the new trend starts, this is the beginning of a rise to the top. So guys, we have a new trend here, we have the confirmation of a new trend. I just hope the bulls can keep the control of the market, and we continue to go at this pace, going up and up, continuing the trend until we at least reach the target of 3.65 trillion. So this is the analysis for the total market cap right now. I was giving you also in the previous videos this mark here, this red square, as the probable area for a big retracement if this occurs. My worst case scenario would be that the total market cap could come back down to these levels in between the 50% context mark and the bottom of the trend channel, which is the green zigzag here. So in this case, we have not achieved that yet. You guys can see the blue zigzag is the 50% line of the context, and the green zigzag is the bottom of the trend channel. My target for a possible retracement worst case scenario was this, but it's not happening because the bulls continue to be in control of the market. Okay, let's go to Bitcoin. I will slowly stop talking about dominance, because in reality this is not what counts. I don't really give an F about what's happening in dominance, because as Michael Saylor said, this is complete bullshit, because the real dominance is around 96%, because there are no competitors to Bitcoin. And I tend to agree with him. So we are now continuing to try to break again for the fourth week in a row. We have broken this MRI resistance. However, we came back down, and now again Bitcoin is trying to break it to the upside. You guys seen it just a few seconds ago. The candle was actually getting bigger again. So let's see if we are able to break the resistance of the previous all-time high, which is the MRI resistance line around here. And the cup and handle for the weekly chart gives us a target of $74,000 to $75,000, which I expect to be achieved as soon as we finally break out of this resistance. So I hope the bulls continue in control and allow Bitcoin to go to the first target of the final leg of the bull cycle. Right now, we have all the moving averages in order: 20 period, 50 period, 100 period, and 200 period on the weekly chart. So consensus looks good, everything looks bullish. We are on a green 6 of 9, so possibly we will have 3 more candles to the upside before having a correction. And that's what I'm hoping to happen. Textbook maneuver from the manual of the manuals, which is having 3 more candles to the upside, achieving exactly the target of the cup and handle, and possibly having a correction after that. This would be textbook maneuver, very, very simple to identify on the chart. Right now, we still have the RSI level below the 70% line. This was already crossing the line, but as we came back down from 69,000 to 64, the line went back down again. So I will not consider this a breakout of the RSI, as I said before, that this would signal a trigger for me to the start of the final leg of the bull cycle until the week is closed. So I need to see the RSI closing above the 70 line and closing the week at the same time. So this will not be valid until we have a close of the week with this line of the RSI above the 70 RSI level. So in this case, this was crossed already during this week, but as we came back down from this high of 69,000, the previous all-time high, the RSI level became again lower than the 70% here on the RSI, so this does not count. I will need to see a close of the week above the 70 RSI level. Now, everything continues to look bullish here. I don't see any reasons to be worried. The volume continues to get a bit low, so we have a bearish divergence here because the price continues to go up and the volume continues to go down. But however, there is no divergence on the RSI and no divergence on the MACD, which continues to be bullish on the weekly. We have the blue line above the orange. That indicates by itself that the MACD is bullish. However, we need this candle to go a bit higher if we want to close the bars on the MACD also on dark green and not light green, possibly indicating a short-term momentum for the bearish case. The third oscillator continues to go up too, so everything looks good. except that small bearish divergence between the volume and the price action. So let's see what is happening on the daily chart. And on the daily chart, let me turn auto on. Here we are possibly reversing the price action after finding support on the 20 period SMA, the simple moving average, which counts on periods of days. So this green line here was support for the last 1 to 4 candle correction that was actually happening sooner than expected, because we had the green 7 count here, then it flipped, and this was the problem. This candle here was a problem because it flipped the count. It did not allow the count to go to a 9 and have an MRI top. So we continued after flipping the count with these 2 green candles, which actually could be the 8 and 9 if this did not happen. And then we had the 1 to 4 candle correction. But however, if you know how to interpret the MRI indicator, this is, of course, you can imagine that this was an 8 and a 9, and then possibly this final excess after the 9 with the 1 to 4 candle correction. And in my book, this is now the point where we could see the reversal of the price action going to the upside again. It looks like a rounded bullish flag here, like a small cup and handle, which could happen really soon in the next few days. And probably we could see a retest of the previous all-time high during next week. After this week's close on Monday, we could start to see Bitcoin going higher and higher and try to retest again the 69,000 line to go to the possible mark of 74, 75,000, as the cup and handle indicates that could be the next target. So right now I look at the daily chart, and I like what I see because of this support we found here. The flipping of this candle to the red count does not matter to me. I will interpret this as an 8 and 9 with a final excess, 1 to 4 candle correction, and possible reversal of the price action to the upside. So in my case, or what my opinion could be, is that we are about to see a reversal of the price action, continuing to go up very steadily and slowly, but at least going to the upside again to retest the previous all-time high soon. Also on the daily chart, everything looks in order. We have the 20, 50, 100 and 200 moving averages in order. So the consensus looks good too. The RSI is finding support on the trend line. Don't mind this yellow circle because this comes from the weekly chart. But as you guys can see, the white line is just touching this yellow circle, and the RSI level found support again on the trend line and is now trying to reverse to the upside. So I like the configuration or the structure of this daily chart. In my opinion, we found support here. We have a VPVR very, very strong around these levels of 61, 62, 63, and that's exactly where we found support. Also, also in conjunction with the 20 period SMA. So that looks a very, very good chart in my book. The MACD, however, is the only one that I don't like here on this chart. The blue line is below the orange, but as you guys can see, it's very close. They are going parallel. It's not increasing the gap between the two, and this is because of sideways action. So it's possible that if we continue to rise the price action to the upside, this will flip eventually very, very soon, and we will have a blue line again above the orange and the bars turning back to green color, indicating that the MACD is also bullish on the daily chart. So that's it for the daily. Let's take a quick look at the 4-hour just to see what's happening. So you guys can see here that we are starting to go to the upside again in this in the last few minutes of this 4-hour candle. It's only 25 minutes away from the close of this 4-hour candle, and we don't have a lot of movement here on the leveraged positions on oh man, I had a blank right now. BitMEX. So the BitMEX funding rate is not moving a lot. The leverage is not very, very high either way. So this is very neutral, which is good for the bullish case because the bulls are in control. If the bears were in control, this would be good for the bearish case. But in this case, the bulls are still in control of this market. So I believe that this candle will continue to rise a bit more. Probably we could overcome the 20 period SMA on the 4-hour and establish support above the 20 period. That would be a very, very good case if that happens in the next 25 minutes. That's it for the 4-hour chart. And here it is the Pro Frameworks indicator, my second strategy. and serves as confirmation for the first one. We are still inside the trend channel. We found support on the bottom of the trend channel exactly as predicted. You guys missed this already, right? By the way, we found this after an ABC correction. ABC correction, and now we are starting the reversal of the price action. This is again textbook maneuver. Found support on the bottom of the trend channel, which corresponds on the other strategy to the 20 period SMA on the 4-hour chart, and this is also for our chart, by the way. And now we are breaking out to the upside, and I hope that we break this level of resistance here, small resistance around $65,300. If this breakout is able to continue to the upside after that small resistance, we will probably see a new all-time high soon, as the indicator says that we are about to go to 70. So let me just check here without... I know you guys have the logo of the channel on top of the chart, but I can tell you that this line here, this red line of the indicator, points to $70,800 as the next possible target before we find again major resistance. So, but don't forget, I'm expecting 74 to 75 as the final target because of the cup and handle, okay? So right now everything looks good also on the pro indicators. We are navigating inside the trend channel. We are above the 50% context, not even having any indication that we might have a reversal after this correction here to the downside. And we found support on the 23.6 Fibonacci level after achieving this all-time high here, which was around 66,993 before the last all-time high we had. And then we came back, and this was a squeeze. As you guys know, the purple colors here indicate the price action squeeze. So we achieved that all-time high there. We navigated again to the bottom of the trend channel, going sideways, top of the trend channel, bottom of the trend channel, and everything is occurring inside what is expected from the channels and the context of resistance and support. So everything looks good. We are now with the momentum getting back down a bit, but the sine wave is now pointing up, which is counter-trending this movement of the momentum. So I believe that this move to the upside could start here and slowly and steadily continue to the upside, at least until the levels of $70,800 as the indicator says here. That's it for the pro indicators. Nothing else I can add after analyzing this also on the MRI strategy. Let's take a look at the dollar, and the dollar looks like crazy and stupid going to the upside. Of course, you guys know I don't like this, but this doesn't mean that the dollar is not experiencing super inflation right now. This only means that the dollar is stronger than the other fiat currencies of this index. So this has no relation whatsoever to the inflation. This is an index of the dollar, which everyone guides themselves by it. But this index takes into account the strength of the dollar against all the rest of the fiat currencies that make part of this index, which are the euro, the pound, the Chinese yuan, the Japanese yen, and a few more, I guess. I'm not sure about how many fiat currencies are compared to the dollar in this chart, but what this means only is that the dollar is still stronger than the other fiat currencies on this index. It doesn't mean that the inflation is going down as the price of the dollar is going up. Okay, there is no correlation whatsoever with the inflation numbers. So this is just showing us that the dollar, despite all the inflation and all the dollar printing, is still stronger than the euro, the pound, the yuan, the yen, and other fiat currencies, which probably are doing a lot worse job than the dollar is doing. So I guess not only the Fed is doing a poor job, but also the other central banks in other countries are doing even a worse job than the Fed. And that's why the dollar continues to rise. But however, good news, we have an MRI warning for the weekly chart. So that means that as soon as this week closes in a few hours, let me see if I have the count here. No, I don't. As soon as we close this week's candle, which will be at midnight of Monday, Portuguese time, we will have a new candle with an MRI top, and probably that will reverse the price action again of the dollar to the downside. So let's see how that evolves. We are still a few hours away from that, We have to check the close of the week on the dollar to see what happens. But having the dollar going up against other fiat currencies like this, and seeing that Bitcoin continues to explode to the upside and not achieving lower levels than the ones expected already, tells me that the Bitcoin market is absolutely controlled by the bulls right now, and we don't have anything to fear from this dollar rise to these levels of 95 on the Dixie. Now, let's see gold. And as I said before also on my previous video, gold was going up, escaping from this handle of the 10-year cup and handle that you guys know already. I like to show you guys the entire cup and handle because it took 10 years for gold to achieve exactly the same price as 10 years ago. And that must have pissed off all the gold bugs, including Peter Schiff. But finally, gold is at least showing that it wants to become bullish and get away from this cup and handle. Probably to the end of the year, we could see gold above the $2,000 per ounce, as I have been saying for some time already. So I probably will see gold very, very slowly, as the gold is a snail, going to the upside, probably achieving the $2,000 mark of the previous all-time high here. And let's see how that goes. This is not the all-time high, I guess. Let me check. I don't know if this one here was higher. No, this one was the highest one. So this one was around 1,910. And this one was the all-time high, of course, of $2,075 per ounce. So it's probably we'll see a new all-time high soon in gold because of this bullish pattern of the cup and handle that has been developing for the past 10 years. So you guys see, Bitcoin had a cup and handle in a few months. Gold needed 10 years to develop this cup and handle. That's how slow gold is and not a good investment, but at least it's a hedge against inflation. So S&P continues exactly the same. There's absolutely no change from the previous video. This is exactly the same candle. It was a bit bigger, I guess. It just went up a few hairs here, but nothing really changed from before. And this entire move to the upside, as I said so many times, it's completely synthetic because of printing of the dollar like crazy by the Fed. So nothing new to say here. And let's look at the last, but not the least, chart here. So these are the levels that I have been discussing on the channel already. You guys know that there's always two possibilities in the markets. Either we go down or we go up. And in this case, the Fibonacci levels that I present here are the levels for the case that we could have a retracement. I explained this already before. I left this one here just to, you know, to continue to show the levels to anyone who asks on Telegram group. By the way, talking about the Telegram group, let me put the message on screen. Here it is. No, this is not here. Oh, it is here. I was watching the wrong channel. So the first one on top is, of course, my personal account on Twitter that you guys should follow if you want to be in the loop of all the news and things I post on Twitter. The second one in the middle is the link to the FU Money podcast Twitter account, where I announce all the videos that I'm going to make, live or not live, or recorded, or whatever news about the channel. And the last link, of course, if you want to join the Telegram group, you'll be more than welcome to join almost 600 people. We are very close to have 600 people on the Telegram group and discuss Bitcoin and the markets in general 24 hours a day. I will be there every time I can. If I'm not recording, live streaming, or sleeping, of course, many people can address me there and ask their questions. So you'll be very, very welcome to join the Telegram group and also to follow me on Twitter and the channel on Twitter. That's it. Let's remove that. We don't need to say it again. By the way, if you missed the links, don't forget on the video notes below, you can find those links again, and it will be easier to just click on them and follow those links to the appropriate sites. Continuing here, so we have the next level. So I was asked before, I remember, thank you, Magis. I'm watching the chat while I talk, and thank you for posting also in the chat if you want to join the Telegram group. Magis, which is a moderator of the channel and an OG also of this channel, he has been here for so long, is posting the Telegram group on the chat. Okay, so if you want to know the levels, if a retracement occurs, the first level to DCA, in my opinion, and I will DCA again, is the 23.6% FIBO retracement, which corresponds to $56,367 if Bitcoin ever goes back here, at least in the short term. So this will be the first level for me to DCA back in, and my second level to DCA will be the 38.2 FIBO retracement level, which corresponds to $49,739. So I will not get back into the market with any new positions unless Bitcoin goes to the 23.6% FIBO retracement or the 38.2% FIBO retracement. In this case, these will be my levels of entry for new positions into the market, expecting that at least the 38.2 will be more important, even more important than the 23.6%, because this is usually where Bitcoin retraces to when it has a bigger correction before reversing the price action to the upside. So in terms of DCAing, of course, I could DCA here at 23.6%, but with a smaller position. But if we retrace to 38.2, I will DCA with a bigger position here, because I believe this is the point of inversion of the price action to the upside. Okay, so that's my what I had to discuss today about the analysis of the markets. Of course, you guys can let me see if anyone asked anything. I don't believe that. I don't believe that we had that, but let's see. If anyone wants to ask me any questions about the analysis I just made, or the Taproot activation, if I know how to explain, because I know in the past I was a very technical guy. I was a developer many years ago, but since then I am not anymore, so I'm not into every small technical detail of the implementation of Taproot on the blockchain. But of course I know the implications, so if you guys want to address anything like that, please ask me on the chat. This is also a Q&A session, so you guys are very, very welcome to ask me whatever you want. Let me just leave this on the screen. And unless if you don't have any questions, of course, we can wrap up this in just a few minutes, the live stream. And of course, don't forget, I will also be on Hartford Cafe tonight for the same kind of analysis, but in Portuguese. So if you speak Portuguese or understand Portuguese and you want to see the content in that language, you can also go to YouTube and join the Hartford Cafe channel tonight at 10 p.m. Portuguese time, of course, and watch my analysis in Portuguese there. Oh, we have here an orange mention, so I guess this is a question. Let's see. Let me go to the chat here and post your question on screen. Finally, there's a mention. What's your favorite block explorer and why? Excluding your own node, of course. That's a good one, because I was going to exactly answer my own node, because I can show you guys my own node just for fun, just for you guys to see it. It's not really a secret. So let's see if I will not dox anything here. I guess it's here. Yeah, so this is my own node, and I have my own Bitcoin Explorer. As you guys can see, I see all the blocks here. Let me refresh this, because it needs to be refreshed every time you want to see it. I guess there is no really private information here. This works just like any other Bitcoin Explorer, blockchain Explorer in this case. So it gives me, I will just address your question, not talking about my own node, but I will of course discuss that, because from here you can get to other Bitcoin Explorers or blockchain Explorers in this case. So I have the number of pending transactions. This is green, a green number, because it's really good. I also like the other one I will show just next, but from here you guys can see I know for the last 10 blocks or more, if I want to click see more here on the right, I can see all the blocks that were mined, which pool has discovered the block and got a reward, and all the amounts involved in that, the number, the fee, the cost of the fees, the average fee, the volume of BTC transacted on that block. Look, for example, this block here, the block 709,000 709,537 was discovered by Antpool, which by the way is the pool I use for my own Bitcoin miners. And this block had 65,801 Bitcoins transacted among people. So you guys can see how many Bitcoins were transacted in each block and how much was the fee for those transactions, and average fee, and the actual fee for that block, for those transactions. And this is of course, the total sum of the fees for an entire block. And how many transactions were done in that block? 2,819. Of course, I can have a lot more information. For example, there's a funny one here, which is the Bitcoin fund, and you can actually see the block 0 of Bitcoin, which is really, really interesting. And you can see the message from Satoshi. And here is the message. See this one, block analysis. And then you have, if I'm not, sorry, it's not this one. I already forgot how to do it. Here, maybe this one. Yep, exactly. So this is the message that Satoshi left on the block 0 of the blockchain. The Times, the newspaper on the 3rd of January 2009, and the title of the news: Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. This is the title of the news of the Times on January 3rd, 2009, and this is the message that Satoshi wrote on that block 0. This is the block 0 of Bitcoin. Really interesting stuff you can see with the Bitcoin Explorer. You can go to any block you want. You can see all kinds of information about the blockchain, which, by the way, you cannot if you have shitcoins. So this is the kind of stuff, all open, all transparent, that you can see on Bitcoin, and you can't on shitcoins, because no one runs a node of Ethereum, because it needs around 10 terabytes of hard drives just to store a useless blockchain, which does nothing better than blockchain of Bitcoin. So anyway, the other one I really like as a very, very graphical explorer is this one here. I really like this site. It's the URL is mempool.space, and it shows graphically the blocks moving on the blockchain. So right now we have one block which is closed already for transactions. No one can get into this block anymore. And this will be released in approximately 10 minutes, because as soon as I change the page, this block just moved. So you guys saw the block move. So this one is approved already. This is 709,542 and moved just a few seconds ago, or just 1 minute ago. And then there's this one waiting to be accepted by the blockchain and moved to the right side of this line here, which will mean that this will become block 709,543. And then in approximately 19 minutes, this block, which is already getting filled, is going to be also approved and moved to the blockchain as soon as the miners approve it. So I really like this this blockchain analysis, graphical analysis tool here. You also have a lot of graphics. You also have the same kind of information that you have on the Blockchain Explorer, the normal one. You have all the blocks, how long ago they were mined and approved on the blockchain, and you have a lot more statistics. If you click the buttons on the top here, you can also search by transaction ID, block height, hash, or address. You can put it anything you want of those things here on the search box, and it will give you all the information related to that. But I also like this site because of one really important thing, which is this. It gives you the amount of fees you have to pay for a transaction right now on the blockchain. And if you want low priority, you can pay for your transaction with 1 sat per byte, and it will be, of course, taken into the next few blocks. If you want medium priority, you can still pay with 1 sat per byte, and this also gives you the price in dollars, 9 cents. And if you want a high priority transaction to get into the next block, which will be this one already, or if this one is still not yet full, because it could take a few more, I guess, it's usually 1.98 or something like that. But this one, no, this one is locked already because it's completely full. You can pay 7 sats per byte, which is 60 cents, and have your transaction in the next block available. So in this case, it's a very useful site. you can have access to the fees you have to pay. If you want to make a transaction on the blockchain, you can come here, wait for the best period for a transaction. As you guys can see, it has been coming down, and this changes a lot during the day. So it has been coming down. So this is actually, if you want to make a transaction on the blockchain, is actually the best time right now because the fees are very low. You can just wait like 3-4 blocks, which would be half an hour, 40 minutes if you don't want to pay a lot of fees, and you will just pay 9 cents. 9 cents of a dollar to transact any amount of Bitcoin you want. So this is a very, very interesting site. You guys should know this and should have it on your favorites. A lot of information can be seen here, and it's a graphical website, so it's very user-friendly. So answering your question, I hope I gave you a very good answer to your question, and you are satisfied with this site also. So I hope that helped you in any way. Let's see, any more questions? I see one here that failed to be mentioned correctly. FU Hard Fork Cafe got out of jail. Yes. So this is an interesting question, and it's not on orange. I don't know why, but it's here on the mentions anyway on my graphics software. So the FU Money Hard Fork Cafe. Oh, Hard Fork Cafe, okay, the channel got out of jail. Yes, it did. So they finally got their channel back. Actually, past Saturday, they already had a stream on the right channel that was taken away from them, and very, very correctly was given back. So very correctly, they gave it back to those 4 guys, which have an extremely good work for the space and for Bitcoin, and also some shitcoins. You guys know this already. I don't really care because they have a great, they do a great job talking about the space, and it's a very good show. So no one is anyway, I guess, scamming anyone on that show. So there were absolutely no reasons for YouTube to ban the channel, and luckily they got it back and everything went fine. So tonight I will be there. I was already in the past week. So, and this was already on the right channel, the usual channel for the Hard Fork Cafe. So tonight I will be there again. I guess Daniel is not able to do it, so I will replace him tonight. Any more questions, guys? Or we will wrap up soon because this is about 1 hour of live stream already. So if you don't have any more questions, let me know. Or if you do, let me know also. And I will, of course, address them. Don't forget, guys, below, check the links below, and please just comment the videos, because there's been so few comments on the videos lately. I know you guys are very lazy, but just leave some words. Hello, I enjoyed the video, or I did not, and you are just an asshole, or something like that. Just comment the videos. I don't really mind if you give me your, your opinion about what happened in the video, if you enjoyed it or not. But if you enjoyed, of course, gently touch the like button. And if you didn't, gently touch the dislike button. But at least leave me a message saying why, so that we can improve for next videos. Okay, guys? So, Taproot activation. Let's check before we wrap up. I guess no one else wants to ask me any questions. Let's see. We have a good audience today, by the way, and I really thank you guys. I am really happy to have you all watching the channel, and I hope that with all the videos I make, I help you guys also take, when you have to make any decisions, to make better decisions. That's the purpose of being here, of course. So let's go to the chat, hide here, and of course, let's see how many hours now. So I guess there's one less hour. Yeah. So guys, in 15 hours and 89 blocks, we will have Taproot locked into the blockchain forever. So I hope you guys enjoyed the news about Taproot. This will improve the blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain, with more privacy, more efficiency, less fees, and this will be a great addition to all the code that we already have locked into the blockchain. Okay, I guess everyone, yeah, thank you very much from you guys. I guess I will just put your messages here. I really thank you for being here today. I know that we don't have any giveaways for now. I will find some different ways again to reward everyone that really enjoys the channel. But soon or later, I will tell you the news about that. For now, I still didn't have the time to really think how to do it, but we will eventually do that. Okay, thank you very much, Dan. I know that thank you also for being here. Like button pressed. And Miguel also, thumbs up. Thank you very much to you all. And of course, I really enjoy being in your company on Saturdays and giving you the best news. And I hope the best analysis possible for Bitcoin and for you to navigate these markets. That's the purpose of the channel, is to help you navigate the markets, navigate the news, and understand the space a little better. So that's it, guys. Before I go, let me just remove this from here. Let's go to the main angle. And yeah, see you later at the Hardfork Cafe. Thank you, Hugo, and thank you all for being here today. I guess it's a really nice time, by the way. 1 hour for live stream, it's a good time. Not 2 hours or 3, because then no one else will watch the video later if they couldn't see the live stream. But anyway, you guys know what to do, right? If you enjoy this content, gently touch the like button. That will help the channel a lot and help me also to continue to improve my work. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I go live or I upload a video. Also, don't forget, we have 2 more channels in the FU Money universe. We have this channel, which is the main one. We have the Portuguese channel, the Portuguese content channel, and we have the news channel. So just go to the bottom of the page here on the main channel, on the home page of the main channel. You will see the other 2. Visit them if you like. Also subscribe and help this universe, the FU Money universe, to grow and to continue doing this work, which is all for you guys. Okay, thank you very much. I will leave you now with the usual wise words.
All right, let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out there.
Exactly, guys. Let's roll, and let's be really careful out there in the markets. And don't forget, Taproot activation in 15 hours. So I hope everything goes okay, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye-bye.